Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tavern of Bad Decisions. I am your host, DM Steve, and today we're breaking down one of the most misunderstood parts of D&D 2024. Vision. Light, darkness, and dark vision, obscurement, blindsight, stealth. All the stuff sounds simple right until somebody drops fog cloud and the table turns into a rules courtroom. Because nobody knows these rules, nobody looks into these rules, and everyone just kind of vibe checks its way through. Whether you're a player trying not to get murdered in a hallway, or a DM trying to run stealth without starting a small civil war, these rules do matter for the most part. Hopefully by the end of this video you'll know how light levels work, or at least have a better understanding with them. What dark vision actually does, and why heavily obscurement or heavily obscure is so nasty, and how to avoid these rules during combat. So let's get into it. First, we need the foundations of light levels. In 2024, there's 3 basic lighting levels. Bright light. You know, the bright lights from the 90s. Editor, show them here. Those things. This one's easy. Sunlight, torches, lanterns, magical light, and the area is brightly lit. Creatures can see normally, like how we normally do now. Dim light is trickier to some degree. This will include like shadows, twilight, moonlight, or the edge of a torch's glow. Dim light creates a lightly obscured area, which we'll touch into. Lightly obscure means the creatures have disadvantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on sight. So dim light does not automatically mess with attacks. It mostly affects seeing detail, spotting threats, noticing hidden creatures, finding things with your eyeballs, your balls of vision. That should be a t-shirt, balls of vision. Then we have darkness, and this is where the pain begins. Darkness creates a heavily obscured effect. Heavily obscured area like darkness, heavy fog, dense foliage is effectively opaque, and you're trying to see something in the area that you have if you are trying to see something in that area in particular, you have blinded condition against that target because they are in a heavily obscured area. And the last part's a big one. You were not just having a hard time seeing. Mechanically, you were treated as blinded when trying to see something inside a heavily obscured space. Blinded condition. So what does blinded actually do? Blinded is a mechanical hammer behind the rules. While you're blinded, you can't see. You automatically fail ability checks that require sight. Your attack rolls have a disadvantage. The enemy attack rolls have advantage against you. It is a huge swing in combat. This is why spells like Fog Cloud and Darkness are not just flavor, they can completely change a fight altogether. If a creature can't see you, it may attack with disadvantage. If you can see them and they can't see you, you can attack with advantage. Just that simple. Anybody can do it, not just the rogue. But if neither side can see each other, those modifiers cancel each other out and becomes just a straight roll. And that's why vision rules feel weird at the table sometimes. Everyone is blind, everyone's flailing about, somehow math ends up back to normal. D&D is just dumb and beautiful that way. Dark vision. It's not quite night vision, but it is to some degree. Instead of the green or blue or red scale, you're seeing everything in gray. Can you imagine night vision goggles on like a dragonborn? Just, I can see everything. Why am I blind? There's some rumors out there that Dragonborns actually only see black and white. Not here nor there. Now let's talk about the rule that causes half the confusion, and that's dark vision, and mostly that's because the rule changed from 3.5 to 4 to 2014 rules to the 2024 rules. Most player characters either have it naturally or can get it through a spell, but again, dark vision is not perfect vision at night or in dark. Dark vision lets you see in like a dim light condition wherever you can see as if it was bright light. So if you are in, say you're on the edge of a torchlight, you're in a dim light area, but you have dark vision, you can see 60 foot around you as if it was bright light. It also lets you see in the darkness itself, natural darkness, not magical darkness. When you're in the darkness, it's treated as dim light condition, which means a normal creature in darkness is basically blind, but a creature with dark vision in darkness is not blind. The area is just treated like dim light, so you have a disadvantage on perception check or anything that relies on sight in the darkness because it's considered lightly obscure. They can function, move, and fight, but sight-based perception checks are still a disadvantage, of course, and in darkness, dark vision only shows the shades of gray, no color whatsoever. That matters more than people think. If your rogue says something along the lines of like, I check which vial has the red liquid, the problem is they're relying on Darkvision in total darkness, and you can't really tell what color red is in a scale of gray. You can argue back and forth, that's fine, but ultimately it's up to the DM's discretion. Common dark vision range is about 60 foot, though some creatures get more. The dark vision spell can extend that much further. I believe it's 150 foot-ish. But here's the big limitation. Magical darkness can block dark vision. The darkness spell specifically states that a creature with dark vision can't see through it. So no, your elf does not automatically win every dark room forever. It's fine. We have Moonbeam. We can make it happen. Dark vision is common, but it's not the king of visions. That's at a much higher pedestal. D&D has several species that can completely change how dark vision and obscurement work. For instance, Blindsight. Blindsight lets a creature perceive its surroundings without relying on normal sight, usually within a specific range. I believe that's 10, maybe 15 foot at most. That means darkness, being blinded, and many other kinds of obscurement around this one creature or character does not shut them down the same way that normal vision does. If something is not behind total cover and is within the creature's blindsight range, the creature can perceive it normally. That means blindsight is one of the best counters to darkness, invisibility, fog-based shenanigans, and yada yada yada. Typically these are reserved for, I believe, monks. There's some other classes that do that, but I think monks are the ones that have blindsight for sure. Although I think you can also take certain feats when you level up to gain blindsight. I'll have to look into the feats section. Maybe that'll be my next video is feat. Let me know in the comments. Then there's Tremorsense. Tremorsense? Watch out for Trevor, everyone! Tremorsense. We'll get through this, I promise. Tremorsense lets a creature detect the vibration through the same surface. It can sense a moving creature, objects coming closer to them that's touching the same surface. But Tremorsense is not the same as sight. It's only based on if they're touching the ground. So any flying creatures, you're treated as blind at that point. It doesn't let you read a scroll, it doesn't help you with flying creatures that aren't touching the ground, and it doesn't necessarily solve every targeting problem. But then there's the king of vision, Truesight. Truesight is like, I paid for the premium subscription service of visions, okay? It can see in normal and magical darkness, it can see invisible creatures, it can let you see through illusions, perceive true forms, and even see into the ethereal plane within a certain range. If your villain has Truesight, your illusion-heavy party is about to have a very bad day. Same turn, if you've got a character in your party that has Truesight and you want to throw an illusionist at them, reconsider, my friend. Reconsider. Or find a way to separate them from the party. Vision ties directly into stealth. And this is where the rules get a little bit murky, because not a lot of people use the obscurement or cover to add to their stealth or take away from their stealth. So in the 2024 rulebook, the hide action is more structured than many tables are used to. To hide, you need to be in the right situation. That means you are heavily obscured, behind 3/4 or total cover, and otherwise out of enemy sight. If you can't break line of sight, you cannot hide. I'll say it again. If you cannot break line of sight, you cannot hide, which me and my rogue is going to have a long conversation about that. And then you have to make a dexterity check. Typically, it's a 15 for your stealth check to hide. If you succeed, you gain the invisible condition. This means you are not literally transparent and like you can do whatever you want around everybody. It just means that you are mechanically hidden from creatures that failed to notice you. Your stealth check becomes a total of a DC for somebody else to find you by taking the search action. So how I do this at my table, this is how I do it at my table. It is somebody's stealth check that they rolled versus that person's either search, investigation, or perhaps perception, depending on where they're at and what they're doing. So like if they are running away from a guard, the guard is going to be using either search or investigation on the area that the person is hiding in. If it's more or less like, okay, you're running through the trees, or let's say the combat's going on and the rogue just kind of fucks off into the woods to go hide, that would become a perception because the enemy knows there's a rogue nearby, but they don't know where. And that's where the perception comes. While you are hidden, you gain major benefit. You can be harder to detect, or you can be harder to target. Attacks against you have disadvantage. Your attacks have advantage if the target cannot see you. Some spells and effects can't target you as long as they require line of sight. But hiding is fragile. In the end, if you attack, make noise, cast a certain spell, usually with verbal components, step into clear view, or otherwise give away your position, it breaks hiding. Like, you're no longer stealth, you're no longer hiding. So the combo is simple. Heavily obscurement area plus successful hide equals nasty combination of advantage and damage dealers, especially for rogue. Unless the enemy has Blindsight or Truesight, then they just elude. Or simply like one villain I had, the rogue was like, I hide behind this thing, MacGuffin, like had this weird thing that was a false wall, and my villain just like, cute trick, throws a javelin at him through the wall. It was like a paper thin wall. Now let's put this in a combat term. Here's the big takeaways. If you attack a creature you can't see, your attack will have disadvantage. If a creature can't see you, your attack may have advantage on them. But if the same are true at the same time, where you can't see each other, it's just a straight roll, because you might have it, or if both are true at the same time, those cancel out and the attack becomes a normal roll, because you attack a creature that can't see you, and if you attack a creature you can't see, but if you attack a creature that can't see you, I'd be so much better if I could read half the time. Okay, to clarify this, you attack a creature you can't see, you have disadvantage. A creature can't see you, your attacks will have advantage. So if a creature can't see you and you can't see the creature, it's just a normal roll. Yeah, that part makes me like, oh, the wording on this stuff makes it hard to do and research and mechanically it makes sense because it breaks each other apart, because if you stack an advantage and a disadvantage, it just cancels out to a normal roll. You're swinging blind, but they also can't defend properly because they can't see you either. Another important point is dim light does not directly give disadvantage on attack. It only affects like perception checks. It does not automatically make you worse at swinging a sword. Now, if someone says it's dim, so all attacks have disadvantage, that's not the rule. They're misconstruing a different rule set. So then, tactically speaking, Fog Cloud is incredible because it creates a heavy obscurement and can shut down archers, spellcasters who need to see sight, and enemies relying on normal vision. Darkness can do the same thing, but with the added twist that magical darkness blocks normal dark vision. If your party runs in, they all have dark vision, give one of your monsters the ability to cast darkness once per day. It'll change the whole table. Pretty cool. Make it like a little ring or something like that. The little goblins like darkness spell and like around itself. It makes it fun. A classic combo is to drop darkness, have a way to see through it, fight the enemies who can't see you, that you could be through a special feature, a magic item, Blindsight, or some other ability like Tremorsense would work. But if you can't not see through your own darkness, congratulations, you've created a problem for everyone, including yourself, which is still very on brand for a lot of parties. Just a quick recap here. Darkness is a second level spell. 15-foot radius of magical dark. Normal dark vision will not see through it, and can also be cast on an object, which means the darkness can move. So if you cast it on an arrow and fired that arrow at the enemies, it works, especially if you hit a target with it. It works, but you would have disadvantage on rolling to hit with that, unless somebody, I'm not going to give ideas out there. I'm not going to do that. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. That makes great for ambushes and escapes, or deeply annoying warlock behavior. Fog Cloud is a first level spell. It creates heavily obscured area of fog. It spreads around corners, which makes it fantastic for breaking lines of sight or ruining ranged attackers' day. Unlike darkness, Fog Cloud is not defeated by normal dark vision because it's not about lack of sight, it's physical obstruction. So you can't see through it. That just is. In many cases, Blindsight is one of the cleanest ways to answer it. Blindness Deafness is more direct. Instead of creating an area that applies the blinded condition to a creature, no fog, no shadow, it's just magical eye problem. Dark vision gives a creature improved sight in darkness for hours, which is great for exploration, but remember, it's still just dark vision. So it treats dim light as normal light, but it cannot beat the darkness spell. There's other spells out there too that rely on vision and whatnot. Have fun with those. So let's recap this real fast. Bright light, normal vision. Dim light means lightly obscured. Most effect perception. Darkness creates a heavily obscured area, which can make creatures effectively blinded when trying to see into them. Dark vision helps, but it's not perfect. Fog Cloud and Darkness, Blindsight, and Tremorsense. There's Trevor again. Tremorsense will affect the way of the combat different. Once you understand these rules, darkness stop being darkness stops being a background flavor and becomes a tactical playground. So with that in mind, what's your favorite vision trick? I want to know, because I need some ideas for my campaign. What's your favorite darkness combo? And how do you stop rogues from committing crime? I read all the comments that come by so far. Appreciate you all being here. I really do. I'm still kind of getting the swing of things with this. And yeah, till the next one. Thanks for watching.